Most welcome to the Voice of Evolution. My name is Preview. I've been working for more than 20 years for the resurrection of the planet, the human kingdoms, especially the animals and the elements, and thus bringing to my true spiritual scientific side to the equations and as a new way of recreating health in the body from the inside out is my main purpose on the planet, and to bring people back into perfect health and how that works with the new organic construction of the earth, because without working with light within earth, there is no resurrection of self, there is only a death penalty. So I do notice many people are still streaming on a lot of resistance, self-restrictions, laziness especially, that comes from the old broken fractures or the old solar system that has been in the repair kit now for many years, with those wearing the new solar body, and thus resurrecting the entire solar system with the individual sun stream, coloration, mathematics, and geometric patterns. And it is especially these three items that are going to move in to the entire organism of the human body, that will heal you inside out. So it's a new dawn, a new view of vision on what meditation can establish and how to work with it. So we are actually living the age in which everything that has been inverted into density, fear, the emotional body, etc., when being inverted, we resurrect that in the Unitarian means, the gathering, the equality, male-female vibrations, coming back to what it means to be one with an eternal partner. So here I've been working on these streams like a spiritual scientific rebel to get that technology through, as time has come that people are ready to learn about light grid technology that overrides everything ever termed the dark ages that came into creation, with the matrix, and inverted the economics, inverted the banking systems, inverted your psychology, and the malfunctioning of the brains. So it's very important when establishing a light body and moving that particular light body with all the galaxies, with all 12 universes, and into the beyond, where the astronomers, physicians, and scientists of the divine reside, or the spiritual scientists, and merging that with the planet right now, as the planet is ascending every day more and more. We can really truly feel that very strongly in our body. What comes with it is the restoration of our health, such as severe lung diseases, severe diseases with the respiratory tracts, heart diseases, cardiac diseases, and also a lot of reconstruction that needs to be done to the skeletal structure, because when overriding the matrix through the crystalline grid constructions that realign, reconstructs, and brings through all communication you will ever need to move beyond the present currents of malfunctioning. So all that requires is at least a foundation in a light body and opening up into the 6-7 dimensional frequencies, which comes with many work orders, which comes with healing out and knowing how to heal out every organ in your body, the blood circulation, the skeletal structure, the muscular construction, because all of that could easily be elongated and reconstructed in the truth of what a human body really can do. And with it comes the opening fields or open doors into bilocation, trilocation, which is going to be a necessity for those willing to live in a light body in extreme health coming from the elements, as we are hitting a time in which health can no longer be restored by foreign elements that do not stream along the building of elements in the body, or reconstructing the organism into light with the reconstruction of the organism of earth into light, which is happening. So matching your body to the body of earth and moving that with the new solar system, your celestial bodies into universal embodiment, then everything termed attack could be eliminated quite easily. So everybody's still complaining these days, like I have diseases, I have attacks or anything, then you can simply lay a foundation in a crystalline grid with some technology in which all of the universal planetary galactic systems can ground in your body and open up your true value, self-mastery, self-realization. And so that is actually termed the crystallization of your embodiment, different for everybody, yet there is always a common ground. When we have the I Am presence with all 12 universes anchored in it, we can easily ride the phoenix into the ascension and move it up from the Orion constellation into the higher frequencies, in which we fill up the lost parts in the body. So physically speaking, that is new technology grounding that overrides the old cellular construction and into light parts that defeats every thought on density, negativity, malfunctioning, and not being able to even breathe into that. So the breathing system needs to go at least from your source vibrations into the eternal, immortal breathing systems, meaning you feel so light as your vessel expands many, many miles in circumference. And so that means that technology that has not been grounded for many, many lifetimes is available right now. It's what I'm teaching in my seminars, although there is many onlines and upgrades, like a 3-day, a 5-day online meditation to restore your lungs, or there is little things for everybody, for those willing to move into the health that is being required right now. Health cannot be restored by food anymore, as food has been cut off, has been injected, has been completely cut off the perfect elements needed to sustain a body of light. So yes, new forest gardens need to be built in community with the appropriate grid, crystalline grid construction. So whenever you smell cabbage, a tomato, flowers, you will be able to smell the authentic scent actually, and that is very, very high in vibration. So we need to cooperate and do that together through our community building, and that is where my life, where I would love to conduct my life, merging with communities, educating children, especially youth, at universities and in schools, how to reconstruct their elemental body into highest health, and streaming on pure elements that could be cultivated in schools and universities as well. And once we become a natural element, then we can co-create with all elements, restore the planet, and bring that back in return to the animal kingdom that are in great need, because we deconstructed that. So we need to restore that. And so we all have the assignment to resurrect the body, and so much easy applications and high level energy through the restoration of the sacred places, so in which you can load through alignment electronic nutrition. So that is where we are heading. And when we load electronic nutrition, you have the right quantity and quality of your minerals and vitamins in the body. I must say for myself, maybe that is of some help, I do take juices all day, like carrot juice with lemons and ginger in it, and that also cleanses the intestinal tract very well, along celery and apples, and that's very healthy as well. So I stick to those two. But then again, when in the morning, being in great communication with my source, my spark aligned, and my spirit, and I get the information and I align to electronic nutrition, I am hardly hungry during the day. So I have tea, water, some coffee at times, maybe some broth. And then at night, it was actually a test I was doing with myself. I was cooking some dinners, so 5, 6 vegetables, some pasta, some not so much protein, as a light body needs a lot more potassium, not protein, and some nuts with it. I could not even eat half of it, and so you can witness how slow I am speaking with these alignments. And that is what I offer as in individual sessions. So depending on where you are at, that is something very, very important as we are moving from dualism, or the binary systems on which computer technology is being created. If you think about it, and they're all created with crystals, Crystals are being applied to store data. So maybe try to think on a higher level. Crystals store data. So when aligning to crystals, being constructed with a crystalline grid that manufactures through ley lines that cross over diagonally, vertically and horizontally. Then, and there is massive grids in each energy wheel in the body that open up subgrids, and we can expand on subgrids, meaning you start to work in one of those squares. These squares in a grid are termed philosophical wombs, in which you connect with many other species in the galaxy and in this cosmological soup, and you start to load your memory cords to that, because all your memory from your authentic light self have been cut off. So the restoration between the old solar body and your source is massively important, and all of that comes through the integration of ley lines in the brain and the body ley lines, as many chambers in the brain have been cut off as well, or these doors are completely closed off for you to get your data straight, so to speak, straight aligned. So all these things are very, very important, and starting out with laying a foundation, with working in the grid, and at least just breathing through ways of creation, that is the best you can ever do, starting to work with all these 12 ways and healing out with the breathing system aligned to your eternal vibration. And after that, unloading the celestial body that repairs your solar body, then you can fly high into the phoenix, so, and rising into any higher degree you wish to do so, because we are all meant to stay here for many, many hundreds of years in an immortal body. And so it is timed right now that we make the right decisions for ourselves, and that is, you're either interested in getting your light body in and doing your assignments, doing the work orders you are being given by your source, and working together in community to build a life that is truthful, that is beautiful, that is genuine, that opens up intelligence, that opens up many, many movies, or a beautiful screenplay that is crystal clear from any dense measurement. We have been living in fear. Eliminating fear from the body is easy with knowledge, with technology. Without this, you will have a hard time, because without it, you will be cycling the old soul, and the old soul keeps on cycling the old same stuff year in, year out. When you move out of that old soul stuff by loading the celestial body and opening up in your sun stream, you move six-dimensional, in which everything becomes crystal clear, and with it comes massive healing through the glands, the pineal, the pituitary, moving with the rivers of light through the hypothalamic. The thalamic gland has complete different consciousness to it, so it's all about overriding old consciousness and moving, at least in these celestial spiritual bodies, that will allow you to open up these chambers that are laying dormant. And so through birthing in that density, what comes with it as well, a lot of glands in the body, which the earth physicians and scientists do not know about, have gone lost as well. So through spiritual alignments, and we can restore these glands. So one of them is essentially your power gland. The power gland means you speak out the word, you hold on to the word, and your word manifests. So how wonderful is that, right? And then the right connections come in, your new family comes in, new friendships come in, and that is a true necessity in order to move on from the constraints of society today, and not, definitely not digging or living or listening to anything that is the outer world, that has nothing to do with the light words. Because the importance of this video is just to give you the message that there's going to be a split shift between the dense world and the light world. The light world will squeeze the dense world, and those living in the dense world will be squeezed with it. So that is the big evacuation. It is up to you. Do you want to live in the highest level of healing, in which you get your information straight from your source, or do you want to keep on living in dependency and asking questions a million times a day? Because that is not mastery, that is no resurrection with it. Yet in community building, gathering, meditating together and offering applications and technology in meditation, morning and night times, that is how we move forward. And all of that comes together to the capstone of creation on top of the pyramid. There is a triangle that overrides the binary system into the trinary systems, and that is the only missing link. So that is what I install essentially in my seminars and workshops these days. If there is going to be a 3-day via Skype, I will only allow 7 people in it. So it's going to be very, very strong as we move straight into the celestial and universal bodies. And that is overriding dual consciousness at all levels. Anything fear, anything anger, anything disease will be released from your body, and so you can start to breathe again and breathe the eternal immortal vibrations, which is very important. So I was working with that higher technology and integrating massive ley lines in my brain. And so I work a lot on the physical eyes, and I work a lot on the glands, all the glands that align with the physical eyes. So certainly not only the pineal, that is pure nonsense and should make sense. In the old earth body, nothing makes sense. There is no logic. So we move straight into spirit logic, and that will also come with the higher degrees. So reinstalling the trinary system in your brain makes you understand the higher levels of being a spiritual ambassador and being able to work with all species in the cosmos, with planetary systems, the galaxies, and so forth. So especially bringing back the truth of the element that you are. So I hope this brings some interesting opening to people in how how low in vibration actually consciousness is still streaming in society today, and people just complaining. Complaint is the worst of duality, and that goes with the lower levels of foods. Everything that is being presented in supermarkets as food industry goes into breaking your system into decay actually. So we need to rebuild and find pure grounds, or at least build pure grounds with pure vegetables and minerals and herbal kingdoms and flower kingdoms. Flower kingdoms are going to be massively important. And so just smelling this pure skin with the purity of divine elements comes with the air that you are able to breathe. If in meditation you cannot breathe the air of a flower that is, let's say, 10 miles apart from you, then there's work to do on your circulation system. And I truly mean what I say, as I've been working on it for the past 5 years with a lot of technology actually. And so what I was coming into here, the importance of the trinary system, that was pretty weird what I've been seeing. So I'm not only referring to the pyramids in Egypt, that most people know, but there is pyramids all over the earth plane, all over, and they're all interconnected. Like there's all ley lines with every construction of a pyramid. So if we load that in our brain, we can interconnect with all the data in these pyramids and bring through the exactitude of education needed for the new physicians, for the new doctors, for the new scientists, for new economics, and for every faculty in the brain needs to come in restoration actually. Especially the psychological department needs to learn how to reconstruct a brain, and psychiatric institutions could learn from that, starting with bringing the reconstruction actually in education. That makes sense. That is logic, right? So if we can educate in universities and how to do that, then we can come up with the proper educational platform in which there is only health, there is only streaming on high intelligence, there is the highest of technology ready to be downloaded on the planet. I mean, if we still need to work with a computer on a binary system, in the end that's going to kill us. It's very far behind in technology actually, such as our iPhone. But we are glad we have so many apps. So what you can take from this video is, remember, every application on your iPhone has an application in your brain, and we can download apps in our brain because our brain are computer mechanics, yet lighted computer mechanics, nothing to do with the earth computer mechanics that run or stream on dualism and just breaks everything down in the aging process, in decay, unhealthy means and ways of living that was never meant. So here, please, wonderful, beautiful ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being with me. Think about it. Think if you would really love to set in your light body. I have so much to offer yet I do not stream like on the lowest of psychological, spiritual content that we can see on Google today. One meditation with me changes your vibration 360 degrees. Reason why: I do not allow nonsense. I allow what is needed at a particular time. So this weekend I came across this beautiful crystal. If you want one of those, let me know in the comments. I'll get you one of those. That is from South America. So I've been working a lot with the amethyst crystal from Brazil, from Peru. That is more for the universal spiritual bodies. Brazil is your starting point for the spiritual body. And this one comes from Ecuador. So that is aligning to the divine timeline as is being required right now. And it brings to Unitarian means, it brings in equality. I've only been meditating it for 1 day or 2 maybe, and I just can't let go. It's with me all of the time. I put it in my pockets and I'm with it, and I'm getting more and more and more information. It is such a wonderful amethyst, so Ecuador. And you can align to the ley lines matching Ecuador, that is in between Upper Colombia and Brazil actually. And so that's a small place and a very important place on the planet to reconnect. And so my work orders, especially what it is telling me for myself, because it's my stone, you know. You can have one that is going to be your particular stone or crystal. I do know I had my training in South Africa, in the etheric, in Tahiti, where the best and the worst of spirit needs to come together and to close off the triangle. When I was very young, like it's about 40 years ago, in my 20s, I had that trigger that I needed to go to Australia. I needed to go there, and when I get something in my head, that is what I do. And so I went to Australia, and I traveled for 2 years over there and visited many places. I loved it so much. So when I came back, it's a long time ago, right? 40 years ago, I got into a depression. I couldn't handle Europe anymore because of the open fields, the nature, the purity of the oceans over there, and of course the coral reef and everything, the Great Barrier Reef. Actually, a lot of elements have been killed as well over there. So that completes my triangle to really connect with the indigenous people in South Africa, up into Tahiti, and completing with Queensland in Australia, the Great Barrier Reef, all these cities in Queensland, and closing it back off. You see, that is a triangle. And getting, I had a lot of contact with the Aboriginals back then. I don't quite remember how I did it, but I did it. So, yes, I would truly love to get into the country and educate young people over there, especially in universities and teenagers in schools, and how to operate and conduct themselves back into pure health, mentally, psychology, psychologically, and especially how to reset their bodies, their physical bodies, into perfect health. As I get the information, Australia has a lot of undiscovered elements popping up, so we need people over there to bring them these elements, like seeds, like herbs, back to the human kingdom, such as I've seen in meditation to the Great Barrier Reef. I was shown black seeds that are very, very healthy for the human body. So how easy can it get, just eating a few black seeds instead of a big dinner plate? I mean, I'm getting bored with food, actually. And when you're getting bored with food, you don't need so much anymore, so you can just breathe through the elements that you need through electronic technology. And so I truly hope, that is the only hope I have here, is that I'll get there, because my son is living there for 3 years now, and I haven't seen him since, with everything that is going on. So that is truly my goal. And when I can bring up there what I've seen, and with the data I've been loading in my brain with the inner psyche, then we can conduct, connect, and gather and open up spiritual scientists and physicians and biologists and ecologists to gather and open up a brand new platform for movement, for flow, and for inventions, actually, because they would stream a lot faster and would bring back a lot of passion in humanity. So if any school or university is open to get me into educating their beautiful young people, then yeah, I'm ready, you know. So on the other hand, as most know already, I have been in a deep dialogue for many years with somebody about ascension, about healing, about the crystalline grids, about restoring the body, explaining and digging deeper in what it means to become a crystal grid keeper or a crystal grid embodiment, how to move from one crystal into the next crystal, and how that functions, and how people at times do not get it, and it takes so much explanation, and how important it is to align to all the planets in the solar system, moving from Pluto into Neptune, into Venus in the heart, and Mars and Jupiter, the Galilean moons, and what it means. Because if you think about crystallizing the body, that is thinking truly deep of what it means to reconnect with the oceans, all the water, and the oceans within, because we are a water planet, and thus the body, highest essence, is water that needs pure air that has been cut off for millions of years to crystallize data. So that is, I've been explaining that in former videos, but if we can teach that and open up to higher technology, higher healing, new modems of bringing people back into health with new physicians, then I'm all passion. So everything I've been explaining, over explaining, digging into detail and more detail and more detail, via social media, on Facebook actually, and I've been discussing it up into beautiful dialogues where the musical vibration came through, into frustration, into emotion, like, yeah, two horns coming together, like he was a Mars vibe, an Aries, I'm a Capricorn, the mountaintop. So yeah, deep dialogues, deep discussions about ascension and what works and what no longer works is truly being described in detail in my new book, Between the Moon and the Sun. That is a true story I have been living for many, many years, and I think that story, when reading through these dialogues, like just communicating with a friend all the time for many, many hours a day, that will assist people to see that you are never alone on your tracks. You can be assisted, and there's many ways, many highways into the divine ways of living.